Greetings, Life Dancers. I'm coming to you on this Juneteenth weekend of celebration. I had a little bit of technical difficulty, so I've turned my fantastic Friday into a fantastic Friday, soulful Saturday, and superior Sunday. So this is my weekend post, and I wanted to share with you today a story of my nursing life and how it can mesh with my spiritual seeker's journey. So I'm diving in right now. As you know, I am a surgical nurse, and what it means to be a surgical nurse is that I take on the role of my patient. When you're here and come to see us for your specific surgery, guess what? You're going to be asleep. And guess what? Who can speak for you? Who can be you while you are sleeping? Who can be your advocate? Who can be in your corner? Who can say, ooh, don't touch my wrist like that. Ah, my foot hurts that way. That would be me, the RN in that role, the registered nurse, the mini manager of the surgical suite. And it is called the operating room theater because, in a way, it is that. We are all moving and dancing and creating together. That's why I have a life dance. And that's why I'm sharing it with you. So you can know a little bit of the intricacies of how the surgical team flows together in the surgical suite, the healing space, and how that surgery suite is a sacred space. So I want to make sure that you hear me say that healing happens in surgery in many ways. We have the players in play, the surgeon, and sometimes the surgical assistant, the anesthesiologist, the surgical technician, and the registered nurse. And then there's you who play a part in surrendering to us your life. I much attribute the goings on in surgery as a dance. And yes, everyone has a role to play. Everyone has their role. And so it's the ebb and flow. Similarly to how a team works when they're sailing. I'm out here. I'm not on the bay right now, but I know people that go out on the bay, and they've had sailing competitions in the past here in the San Francisco Bay Area. And what those members of the sailing team do, each one has a role. And that's what we do in surgery. We have a role to play. And it is a sacred space for you. And trusting and surrendering is fine because we have your back. So, deep breath in, clear the mind, and I want to just wish everyone a amazing Juneteenth. Yesterday, June 19th, 1865, 155 years ago, enslaved Africans. I want to make sure that people, my viewers at least, understand that calling African people from African descent in America and referring to their ancestors as slaves is not really the syntax. Our African ancestors were enslaved people. That bit of wording creates a big impact. It's different. I was growing up and, we had our one day of history, which was very limited when it came to how kidnapped Africans were enslaved and meant to work for 400 years for free here in this country. They did one page and they referred to the people as slaves. Then everyone turned their head and they looked at me. So I experienced that. Not very positive. So please, when you're referring to in general, if you're speaking about slavery in America, the people were enslaved. They were kidnapped, not slaves. So, anyway, little pet peeve there. So, for clarity, for me, and you can check with others and other scholars and people if you don't believe me, how that kind of like creates a little not so good of a feeling, and it creates an interesting feeling. So, it will help you come across as someone that's been a little bit educated on that. With that said, it's a day of freedom, and let freedom ring. And that's what I think about as a young girl, hearing the speech, the I Have a Dream speech on a record player with my mom and dad when I was 5, and just excerpts from Martin Luther King. And if you come to San Francisco and if you go to Yerba Buena Gardens, you will see that tribute to Martin Luther King through the waterfall walkway and read his speech. So yes, little bits of education we must never forget. We must hold each other up and lock each other in the arms and hold hands and go forward in this process. And another thing that's happening is Sunday is Father's Day. So I want to pay tribute to my husband, Michael Neely, and thank him for being a wonderful father and husband and friend all of these years, and many, 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 many return. So they're out hiking today in the lovely California hills. And I just want to keep the intention that our lives will go forward in a much better space with health and healing and happiness. And that's all I'm going to give you for this weekend. And I will see you on a Magic Monday. Ciao, ciao. Like, subscribe, share, leave your comments below. See you Monday.